It was just past midnight when I left my friend's cabin outside Natchez, Mississippi. The air was thick with humidity, the kind that clings to your skin and makes the darkness feel alive. The road ahead was narrow, flanked by dense, old-growth pine and oak forests that seemed to swallow the headlights of my old sedan whole. Fog hung low, rolling in from the nearby bayous, curling around the tires like ghostly fingers, and every mile I drove deeper into the countryside made me feel smaller, more exposed, as if the trees themselves were watching. I was driving to Baton Rouge, a little over 100 miles south, taking the back roads to avoid the interstate. I wasn't alone on the road, but I might as well have been. The night was empty except for the occasional rustle in the underbrush and the distant call of a barred owl. That's when I saw them. A man and a woman, standing by the side of the road, waving frantically. I slowed instinctively. Even through the fog, I could see they were soaked, shivering, dressed in casual summer clothes that looked torn and dirt-stained. The woman's hair plastered to her face, the man clutching a small duffel bag like it held everything he owned. I didn't know why, but I felt compelled to stop. They weren't asking for trouble, they looked terrified, desperate, like they had been walking this road for hours, maybe days. "You need a ride?" I called, rolling the window down. "Yes, please," the woman said, her voice soft but hoarse. "We've been trying to get out of here." I unlocked the doors. They climbed in without hesitation, and as soon as they were inside, I felt a chill that wasn't coming from the air conditioning. They smelled faintly of wet earth and old smoke. I asked them where they were headed, and the man gave me the name of a small town about 30 miles north, near the Mississippi River. "We just need to get somewhere safe," he said. I nodded and pulled back onto the road, the fog closing in behind us. At first, the ride was quiet. Too quiet. I stole glances at them in the rearview mirror. The woman kept staring out the window into the fog, her face pale, almost luminescent in the dim dashboard light. The man's hands were folded on his lap, knuckles white, his eyes staring straight ahead but seeing nothing. Then, almost imperceptibly, the road seemed to change. The straight, familiar stretch of asphalt that should have taken me past a cluster of abandoned farmhouses and a small general store disappeared. The trees pressed closer, the fog thickened, and I felt like I was driving through a tunnel of darkness. I blinked and rubbed my eyes. When I looked up again, there was a broken-down stretch of road that I had never seen before. Potholes deep enough to swallow a tire, slick patches of wet leaves, and the way the fog bent around the edges of the road like it was alive. "Do you know this road?" I asked, unease settling in my chest. The man shook his head. "Not for us," he said. "It only appears sometimes." "Appears?" I asked, my voice trembling. The woman turned her head, slowly, and fixed me with an icy stare. "It appears when it's time," she said. That simple sentence made my blood run cold. Time for what? I kept driving, gripping the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles ached. Every now and then, the fog would part just enough for me to glimpse the dense woods on either side, the twisted roots and low-hanging branches reaching like hands. I started seeing shapes moving between the trees. At first, I told myself it was deer, raccoons, maybe stray dogs, but the shapes were too tall, too deliberate, gliding through the mist in ways animals cannot. Then the smell hit me. Rotten, metallic, like iron mixed with decaying leaves. I swallowed hard. "Do you smell that?" I whispered. They nodded, but neither spoke. My heart thumped, each beat echoing in my ears. Then the man leaned forward slightly, his face close enough that I could see the faint scratches along his jawline, his eyes unnaturally dark in the dashboard light. "It knows you're alive," he said. My hands froze on the wheel. "Knows me? Who knows me?" "The one who waits," the woman said softly, her breath brushing the back of my neck, icy cold despite the heat in the car. "The one who took us." My stomach dropped. "Took you?" I whispered, the road suddenly twisting unnaturally, the car swerving slightly as though the asphalt itself was bending. The couple behind me remained calm, unnervingly so. "We didn't leave," the man said. "Not really. Not completely." I swallowed. The hum of the engine and the quiet tires on asphalt were suddenly pierced by a low, rhythmic tapping, coming from outside. Slow at first, then growing louder, as if someone, or something, was keeping pace with the car. I glanced in the rearview mirror. Nothing. Trees, fog, road. Yet the sound persisted. I tried to ignore it, focusing on the road, but then I saw it, or thought I did, a shape flickering in the periphery, between the trunks. And then I saw the road itself. There were grooves now, deep drag marks, almost blackened against the damp asphalt, leading straight into the woods. I gripped the wheel tighter. What are those?" I asked. The woman's voice was calm, chilling. "Where we ended up that night. Where someone left us. Your car broke down?" I asked, my voice shaking. The man nodded. "We walked, tried to get help. No one stopped. No one cared." The hair on my arms stood on end. I swallowed again. My palms were slick on the wheel. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because you stopped," the woman whispered. "You looked at us. You cared. Not like the others." My chest constricted. I wanted to ask more, to demand answers, but the tapping grew louder, closer. The fog seemed to push in, curling around the tires and headlights. The trees bent in impossible angles over the road, and suddenly the world felt smaller, as if the woods themselves had tightened around the car. I saw shapes moving faster now, glimpses of pale skin, twisted forms. They didn't run. They glided. My vision began to blur, heart pounding so fast it was all I could hear. Then, the road ended, or what I thought was the road ended. A clearing appeared, ruins half hidden by fog. The remains of an old farmhouse, collapsed roof, charred beams, the remains of a porch where the floor had given way long ago. And there, on the edge of the clearing, 2 white sheets spread on the wet grass. Side by side. Too clean, too perfect. And I realized, the drag marks led directly to them. I swallowed, my throat dry. That's where it happened?" I whispered. The man nodded. "We woke there. And no one came for us. No one ever comes." The woman leaned forward, closer to me, almost touching my shoulder. "But you came. You stopped. And now," her voice dropped, soft, deadly, "now you'll see it too." My eyes darted to the windshield, to the fog, to the twisted shapes lurking just beyond the headlights. The car was suddenly heavy, anchored by something unseen. My heart threatened to explode. I wanted to run. I wanted to reverse, to scream, to disappear. But the couple in the back seat leaned forward, perfectly still, their cold presence pressing against me. And in the fog, from the edge of the clearing, a figure moved. Not walking. Crawling. Too large, too wrong, twisted. Its limbs bent the wrong way, its skin burned and mottled, its eyes yellow and glowing faintly through the darkness. The drag marks in the road weren't just remnants. They were warnings. The creature stopped, head lifting slowly, eyes locking on mine through the windshield. The air vibrated. My ears rang. The couple whispered together, "It remembers you now." And that's when I realized, the road, the fog, the forests, the old farmhouse ruins, the crawler behind the trees. The dead couple behind me, they were all waiting for someone who cared. And now, they had me. The creature stopped for only a moment, just long enough for the fog to twist around its bent limbs, and then it began moving again, crawling toward the edge of the clearing with an impossible speed, limbs jerking in ways that made my stomach twist. The man and woman behind me remained perfectly still, silent, yet their presence felt heavier, colder, as if their weight alone was pushing me down into the seat. I gripped the wheel so hard that my knuckles turned white, staring through the fog at the twisted, glowing eyes of that thing in the woods. The drag marks stretched from the farmhouse ruins to the middle of the road, and I realized they weren't just marks, they were a trail, a guide, a way to whatever it wanted me to see. My hands trembled. "We shouldn't have stopped," I whispered, though no one could hear me except the couple. The woman tilted her head slightly, the faint glow of dashboard lights reflecting in her unblinking eyes. "It's too late for that," she said softly. "You already have. You care. And caring, that makes you visible." I swallowed hard. Visible? To what? The man leaned forward slightly, almost touching my shoulder with a finger so cold it burned. "To it. The one who took us. The one who waits for the living." My chest tightened. My eyes flicked to the fog again. The creature was closer now, crawling over fallen branches, dragging itself along the damp earth, spines cracking, its burned, mottled skin shimmering in the erratic beams of my headlights. And then, a sound. Low, wet, grinding, like bones scraping concrete, and it was coming from the rear of the car. I glanced in the rearview mirror. Nothing. Just the couple, still silent, watching me. But the sound grew louder, closer, almost inside the car. My heart slammed against my ribs. My breathing came in ragged bursts. What is it doing?" I whispered. The woman's voice was calm, almost hypnotic. "It's testing you. Measuring fear. Counting your heartbeats. Feeling your presence." The man added, "It will remember you. Always." My eyes flicked back to the road. The clearing was gone. The narrow, wooded route stretched before me, twisting, trees leaning over like cathedral arches, fog thick and curling around every wheel rotation. Shapes moved in the mist, tall, distorted, almost human, almost not. My stomach churned. I wanted to reverse, to slam the brakes, but the car felt anchored by some invisible hand. I pressed the pedal anyway, and the tires spun against wet leaves and mud. Nothing happened. The engine roared, yet the car barely moved. A shadow flickered in the periphery. My eyes widened. The crawler, or whatever it was, had emerged from the woods and now moved alongside the car, matching its pace, unnaturally fast. Its long, twisted fingers scraped the asphalt, leaving blackened gouges, and every time it moved, the fog seemed to pulse, sucking the warmth out of the air. I tried to call out. My voice cracked. "Stop. Stop." But no words formed. Only rasping, panicked breaths. The couple leaned forward in perfect unison, their heads tilting almost unnaturally close to mine. "You cannot stop," the woman whispered. "Not now. Not ever." The man added, "But you can survive, if you follow." Follow? My mind spun. Follow where? Through the twisting route of dense pine and oak, every mile feeling longer than the last. Shapes in the fog began to appear closer, more defined, tall silhouettes with limbs bent at impossible angles, faces pale and stretched, some featureless, some grinning with hollow, black eyes. And yet, they didn't move toward me. They waited, watched, lurking. The drag marks on the asphalt seemed to pulse, glowing faintly in the headlight beams, guiding me forward, like a map etched into the road with despair and blood. Then the smell. Rotten, metallic, the iron tang of old blood mixed with wet soil. I gagged, turning my head slightly, but it wasn't just outside. It was in the car, surrounding me, thick and clinging to my throat. The couple whispered in unison, "Do not fight it. Let it see. Let it know." The crawler leapt onto the side of the road, dragging itself with an almost liquid grace, its yellow eyes never leaving mine. And I understood, this wasn't a creature that hunted in the traditional sense. It didn't run. It didn't chase. It waited. And when someone like me cared, stopped, offered help, it followed. I kept driving, following the twisted path the drag marks led through the dense woods. Branches scraped the car, snapping off in splinters as I swerved. Shadows moved in the fog, shapes shifting closer and then disappearing, as if the darkness itself were alive. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it would break my ribs. The couple remained behind me, their faces calm, almost serene, but every word they spoke, every glance they threw, chilled me to the bone. "It wants you to see," the woman whispered. "To understand." "Understand what?" I gasped. The man's voice was deeper, almost inhuman. "That we never left. That some roads only appear when the living are near." I swallowed hard. The road curved sharply, twisting through a dense grove of pines so old and thick that even the headlights barely pierced the shadows. And there, in the middle of the lane, a figure rose. Not walking, not standing, but crawling, limbs bent wrong, torso twisted, skin burned and hanging in strips. Yellow eyes glowed through the fog, and for a moment, time stopped. The couple leaned forward. "Do you see him?" they whispered. "Do you see what happens when you care?" I nodded, though I felt frozen, trapped in fear that burned hotter than fire. The creature moved closer, faster, its movements jerking and twitching in ways that made my stomach lurch. Then something else happened. The fog thickened, curling into the car through the cracks in the windows and doors, soft as a breath. But alive, wrapping around my limbs, holding me in place. The couple leaned in closer. Their cold hands pressed against my shoulders, my neck, my back, each finger like ice sinking into flesh. "You're part of it now," the woman whispered. "You stopped, you saw, and you care." The crawler slammed into the side of the road beside me. Its claws left deep gouges in the asphalt. Its head lifted, twisted unnaturally, and I saw it in full, the burned, mottled skin, the broken spine, the long, clawed fingers. Its mouth stretched wide, jaw unhinged in a horrifying grin, revealing jagged teeth. My eyes watered. My stomach turned. The man leaned closer. "Do not fight. Follow the road. It will lead you to what you must see." The road twisted again, opening into a clearing I could barely make out through the fog. Ruins. Another abandoned farmhouse, blackened beams sagging, broken roof, a collapsed porch. And then I saw them. The sheets. White, clean, folded, lying on the wet grass. Side by side. The drag marks ended there. I realized in a sick twist of understanding that this is where the couple had ended up before. Where the crawler had found them. Where they had been claimed. I tried to scream. My voice broke into a rasp. The creature leaned closer, crawling faster, eyes locked on mine. And then the couple in the back seat began to fade, their forms ghosting, blending with the fog, until only their eyes remained, glowing faintly, unblinking. "It's time to see it," they whispered together. "Time to understand." And as the crawler lunged toward the road, dragging itself over roots and mud, I realized, there was no turning back. Not now. Not ever. I was trapped in a world where the living and the dead intersected along these fog-choked southern roads, where care and curiosity made me visible to horrors that had been waiting for someone to witness them. My pulse screamed in my ears. The fog twisted, curling, pressing, wrapping, alive. And I understood, once you stop for the dead, you see what should remain unseen. And you can never unsee it. The road ahead curved sharply again, deeper into the dense pines, and I knew I was driving not toward safety, but into the heart of the waiting. And the couple whispered one final time, harmonized, layered, haunting, "You belong to the road now. You belong to the witness. And you will never leave." I didn't see him at first. I only heard the breathing, deep, wet, dragging, like someone, or something, trying to inhale through a throat full of mud. Each exhale rattled the car as if the fog itself had weight, shaking the windshield, vibrating the dashboard. The couple behind me leaned closer in perfect unison, their cold presence pressing against the back of my seat, even though I knew they weren't physically touching me. "Don't look away," the man whispered. "Don't blink," the woman added. "If you blink, he'll be inside the car." My throat tightened. I wanted to close my eyes and disappear, but my eyelids refused to obey. The darkness of the Mississippi woods ahead bulged outward, swelling like a black wave ready to crash. And then it tore. Not like a curtain, but like skin ripping. Something crawled out. The first thing I saw wasn't a face. It was a hand, elongated, bent at impossible angles, blackened nails sharpened like claws, fingers dragging through the dirt, leaving deep gouges that the fog seemed to eat. A second hand emerged and pulled the body forward. Not walking. Not running. Crawling. Clawing. Hungry. As it came into the feeble light of my headlights, I saw the full shape. Its spine arched unnaturally, ribs pushing through torn skin, its head hanging low, neck twisted. Burn marks streaked its back. But worse than the skin, worse than the way it moved, were the sounds, wet gurgles, bones grinding, a sickening rhythm that matched my racing heart. My vision focused on its face. Thin sheets of skin hung loose from a jaw stretched impossibly wide. Its eyes glowed faint yellow, pulsing, alive, and fixed on me through the windshield. I wanted to scream. Nothing came out. The couple behind me spoke softly, chillingly calm. "He remembers your face now." My heart slammed. What is that?" I whispered. The man leaned closer. "The one who took us." The woman added, "The one who lived in the ruins." "The one who drags," they said together. The crawler's fingers dug deeper into the soil as it pulled itself closer. I noticed the shadow it cast. It didn't match its body. Longer, wider, wrong. Like something much larger was hiding inside that broken form. "Why did he kill you?" I whispered, trembling. "He didn't want us," the woman said. "He wanted what followed us." "What followed you?" I asked, voice breaking. They fell silent. The crawler exhaled, fog spiraling like smoke, vibrating the air around me. My chest tightened. "He's hungry," the man whispered. "But not for your body." My stomach twisted. Suddenly, it lunged sideways, slamming into the back door. Metal crunched, shaking the car. I screamed. The woman touched my shoulder. "Don't panic." "Panic?" I yelled. "He's breaking the car." "He won't hurt you," the man said, calm, too calm. "Not yet." "Why?" "Because you're still alive," the woman said. "He only takes the dead." My voice dropped. "But I'm not dead, not yet," they said together. The back doors opened by themselves. The couple stepped out. Perfectly still. The man turned toward me. "Thank you for bringing us." The woman smiled. "Now it's your turn." The ground cracked beneath the car. Fog surged, exhaling, curling into the car, filling it with cold, wet mist. Darkness rose like smoke. And something began climbing out. Not the crawler. Something worse. Something older. Something that had waited, patient, hungry. My scream tore through the car and into the night, swallowed immediately by the fog and the dense pine woods. I tried to jerk the wheel, slam the brakes, anything, but it was as if the steering wheel was fused to my hands, the pedals welded to my feet. The creature from the pit moved faster now, massive, elongated, limbs bending like broken trees, skin raw, eyes glowing, and it exhaled a low hum that shook my skull, vibrating through every bone. The couple behind me leaned in closer. "Do not fight it," the woman whispered. It only wants the living who have seen the dead. I couldn't think. I couldn't breathe. I could feel it inside me, in my mind, my thoughts twisting. The fog pressed closer, filled with whispers, voices overlapping, hundreds, thousands, the sounds of screaming and moaning from the pit, from the swamp, from the dark woods around. My head ached. My vision blurred. Then I understood. This was no ordinary creature. This was the witness of centuries, the collector of those who saw too much. My body convulsed, shaking as if unseen hands gripped my spine. The couple whispered in unison, "You see what we saw. You feel what we felt. You hear what we heard." And I did. Screams, millions of them, from the pit, from beyond the fog, from the twisted realm where the living intersected with the dead. My mind reeled. My chest burned. And then, from the edge of the fog, I saw the crawler, scaling the asphalt, now impossibly fast. The massive ancient thing followed, rising from the ruins of the old farmhouse deep in the fog, limbs stretching, spines clicking, bones snapping in ways that made my stomach lurch. And the couple began to fade, ghost-like, almost merging with the mist, their whispers echoing in my skull. "It will claim you now. It will teach you," they said together. The car shuddered violently, steering wheel jerking. I had no control. My seatbelt tightened like a vice. The creature's claws scraped the metal, windows rattling. My heart felt like it would explode. And then I saw the final horror, the reflection in the rearview mirror. Not just the creature. Not just its glowing eyes, not just its twisted jaw. My face. Hollowed, twisted, mine, and theirs at once. It had merged me with what I had witnessed. I was both alive and dead. Both observer and victim. "It takes only the living who see too much," the woman whispered. "Remember us." And then, the car plunged. Not off the road, not physically, but into blackness itself. Headlights extinguished. Tires spun uselessly. Time didn't exist. Minutes, hours, centuries, I couldn't tell. A highway, empty. Fog curling around cracks in the asphalt. And in the middle of it, two figures, standing perfectly still. The man and woman. Alive? Dead? I couldn't tell. My hands felt hollow. My soul, partial. They waved slowly, stiffly, unnaturally. "You are alive enough to witness. And yet, you will carry it," the woman said. The man leaned closer. "You will see them in your dreams. Hear them at night. Feel them behind you." The fog parted again, revealing the edge of a pit. Something moved within it, coiling, writhing, rising. My stomach turned. My mind screamed. The ancient horror, fully visible now, larger than anything human, limbs bending impossibly, skin raw, spines scraping each other, stopped. Its dozens of glowing yellow eyes locked on mine. I was not a car. I was not alive or dead. I was a witness. And that was enough. My vision tunneled. My ears rang. The couple leaned toward me one final time. "Do not fear. You will carry our memory. You will see what is hidden. You will know the road that leads to the pit." And then, everything stopped. Fog collapsed. Pit exhaled. Silence. I was alone. The tires on asphalt, heart pounding. My hands shaking, gripping the wheel. Night cold. Highway empty. And then my phone buzzed. A notification. A picture. From a number I didn't know. Opened automatically. The dead couple. Smiling. In front of a ruined farmhouse. And in the corner, barely visible, the crawler and the ancient thing, coiled, waiting. I couldn't scream. I couldn't blink. And I knew, I would never be alone again. Every drive at night, every shadow on the road, every foggy bend in the woods, I would remember. And they would remember. And the thing in the pit would remember. Once you stop for the dead, once you witness, there is no return. Perfectly still. The man turned toward me. Thank you for bringing us. The woman smiled, her lips pale in the dim dashboard glow. Now it's your turn. The asphalt beneath the tires groaned, splitting in invisible cracks that twisted under the fog, exhaling cold, wet smoke that rolled into the car like living fingers. Darkness surged upward from the roadside ditch, deeper and thicker than fog, curling like a serpent poised to strike. And then something emerged. Not the crawler. Not the burned, twisted thing from the ruins. Something older, larger, patient. Waiting for me. My scream tore from my throat, swallowed immediately by the dense Mississippi night. I jerked the wheel. Braked. Anything. But the car wouldn't respond. Pedals locked, steering wheel fused to my hands. The fog pressed against the windshield, thick as velvet, each swirl whispering unintelligible voices that clawed at my mind. The couple leaned in closer. I could feel their cold hands through the air, their presence pressing into my skull, into my heart. Do not fight it, the woman whispered. It only wants the living who have seen the dead. I gasped, every thought twisting. I realized then that it wasn't just outside. Not just behind. Not just near. It was inside me. My mind, my memories, my perception, they were no longer my own. The creature, the crawler, the pit, the ruins, they were all inside me, their hunger, their waiting, their knowledge. The massive ancient horror rose fully from the shadows, a figure beyond comprehension, limbs bending like splintered trees, spines clicking and flexing as it moved, glowing yellow eyes scanning me. I was frozen. Paralyzed. My body convulsed as unseen hands gripped my spine, pressing me down into the seat. You see what we see. You feel what we felt. You hear what we heard, the couple whispered together. And I did. Screams, countless screams, from the pit, from the woods, from every place I had driven past that night. Time unraveled. Minutes, hours, centuries, I could not tell. The creature lunged. Claws scraped the roof, the hood, the asphalt, and every strike echoed inside my skull. The couple leaned in closer, faces ghostly pale, eyes shining with impossible light. It takes only the living who see too much, they whispered. Remember us. And suddenly, I fell. Not off the road. Not into a ditch. Not physically. Into pure darkness. Headlights gone, tires spinning uselessly on air, everything swallowed. I fell endlessly, the blackness alive, coiling, patient, hungry. Then, a highway. Empty. Fog rolling lazily along cracks in the asphalt. And there, in the middle, the figures, the man and woman, standing perfectly still. Alive? Dead? I couldn't tell. I was hollow. Observing. No body. No presence. Only awareness. They waved slowly, unnaturally, and the woman's voice carried across the emptiness. You are alive enough to witness. And yet, you will carry it. The man leaned closer, whispering into the void. You will see them in your dreams. Hear them at night. Feel them behind you. The fog shifted again, revealing the edge of a pit, deeper and darker than night itself. Something moved within, coiling, writhing, rising. My stomach turned. My mind screamed. The ancient thing emerged, limbs stretching impossibly, spines scraping each other, skin raw and mottled. Its dozens of yellow eyes locked on me. I was no longer a car. No longer fully alive. No longer fully dead. A witness. And that was enough. The couple leaned in one final time. Do not fear. You will carry our memory. You will see what is hidden. You will know the road that leads to the pit. Then, everything stopped. Fog collapsed. Pit exhaled once more. Silence. I was alone. Tires on asphalt, heart pounding. Night cold. Mississippi woods empty. My hands gripped the wheel, shaking. The world was normal, or at least it looked normal. But I knew better. My phone buzzed. One notification. A photo. From an unknown number. Opened automatically. The dead couple. Smiling in front of a ruined farmhouse. And in the corner, faint but unmistakable, the crawler and the ancient thing coiled, waiting. I couldn't scream. I couldn't move. And I knew, I would never be alone again. Every foggy night, every rural stretch of highway, every shadow in the woods, I would remember. They would remember. And the thing in the pit would remember. Once you stop for the dead, once you witness, there is no return. I am alive. But part of me, my mind, my memory, my soul, belongs to that place now. I have carried their story. And now you have too. Remember it. And if you ever drive past two strangers standing still on a foggy rural Mississippi highway, do not stop. Do not look. Do not wave. Sometimes, the living and the dead are not separated by death at all. And sometimes, the ones you pick up are not asking for a ride, they are offering it. Forever. The end. Thank you so much for watching the entire video. And to get more videos like this, please like and subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell icon beside it. Thank you.